Ho ho ho! Hey everyone, GreymanX6 here, and it's time to do my main pickup video, and we got a big one right here. When I did the Jinx unboxing video, I said I had to choose between that and something else to unbox by its own, and ooh, look at this big old chongus right here. Yep, I went and sprung for this absolute unit. The Mafex Bane figure, specifically from Knightfall. Yep, even says it right there. I don't think their Batman Knightfall actually said that. It was like Night Crusader or something. So yeah, normally I've shied away from this stuff. I've bought import figures like Max Factory Figma, SH Figuarts, and even Bring Art's Cloud Strife, but this is my very first Mafex. And the majority of this video will be dedicated to this. Be very, very careful about that. Cutting that open. Alright, let's get him out. Let's see what we got. Let's see what the big deal about Mafex is. He's a big boy, that's for sure. He's going to tower over Bizarro here. Like I've been saying lately, these last few months, I've been getting... Oh, those are going to spill out. One character that's completely new to my shelf and one updated figure. This month, the new character is Bizarro, and I'm swapping out Bane. What Bane did I have before? This Select Sculpt one, which would stand this tall if he wasn't like in the permanent crouching position. I went with this one because the other ones were too expensive and too big, like the old DC Universe Classics Bath and the DC Direct Knightfall Bane. So for a while this had to do, but when I saw this announced over a year ago, I've been keeping tabs on it because I figured with all this plastic, just like I figured with the main license now being held by McFarlane and them doing 7 in scale and not looking back, if I want any more stuff in the scale I want, it's going to have to come from these import deals, and this was the very first one that piqued my interest. Will I get any more? I'm not sure. I really don't like the Mafex head sculpts for some characters, like seeing the new Phoenix that came out. Remind me of how Super 7 botches theirs. But, alright, I've got him. Let's go over posability right out of the gate. Okay. Can look down pretty good when he's just looking down at someone from the Bat family. Look up pretty good. Not too much gappage. Alright, he's kind of got rotator cuff. Like half butterfly joint from Marvel, half rotator cuff from McFarlane. Does kind of get gappy right above the deltoids or whatever, but you can fandangle it. Okay, I've been hearing so much good things about Mafex, how smooth it feels in hand. After how the Cloud Strife figure felt kind of rough, I see what they're talking about. Okay, we got bicep swivel. Let's bend it. Oh yeah, very nice. Oh, we even got... He's not as hairy as he is in the comics, but come on, focus. Oh, it kind of focused first. Okay, there we go. But we do see some painted on hair, or is it sculpted? No, it looks like it's more or less painted. So they did make the effort. Didn't give him much of a hairy chest, but whatever. It's like it varies how well a figure is when it comes to depicting Wolverine's chest hair, but for Bane, woo! Okay, let's put on one of the alternate hands then, since... Okay, he's got 5 sets of alternate hands. They go on those little things. Let's swap one out right now. Okay. Anyway, they're on like a ball hinge and swivel sort of thing. Not bad. Now, oh, goes back way far, though there is that gappage. And he hunches for very nice. The gappage is less prominent. Okay. He's got a waist cut. Good, good. The belt's a tad floaty. No thigh cut, but we do get a nice swivel equivalent to, I don't know, like a McFarlane. And again, everything just feels nice. Tight without being too rough. No boot cut, but doesn't really have much of an ankle pivot either, but still more postable than that DC Universe Classics. I mean, the Select Sculpt one. I mean, she's permanently kind of in like a low stance. This is easily no regrets about replacing that one with this one. The only complaint is like the silver tube. This one had like the clear green plastic, forced green, to accentuate how he's pumping in venom. This one doesn't really have that, but what can you do? And you do gotta be careful. You can't get full rotation here because of the venom tubing. What you gonna do? Anyway, he doesn't have much in terms of swappable heads because of the tubing, but this will come off. And we can replace him with an even more focused and... Ooh, arm's getting tired. Just bending it at this angle. Alright, it's coming. That sounded wrong. We're reviewing a Bane figure, not Deadpool. We did that last month. Oh yeah, he's got this more focused, like more feral look to him, which suits the character. Alright, let's see him stand up. Very nice. Scales just fine with Bizarro, fellow Legion of Doom. Was Bane ever in the Legion of Doom? Anyway, let's look at the rest of the accessories. We got, like, the Karate Chop Slappy Hands, or Do You Feel in Charge? Okay, we got the, we're number 1 pointy hands, which you can also use to have him push the button on his control module. We got more grabby hands as opposed to those more relaxed hands, and we got slightly less relaxed open hands. So yeah, at least you get your money's worth. This thing's expensive, especially for a while, when you looked like it was sold out at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, and you had to go to eBay. So yeah, he costs like $110, $120, but you do get your money's worth. At least he throws in a lot of accessories. Sculpting's great. They don't skimp for size. He scales just fine with all your older 6-inch scale DC figures. I'm liking this a lot. And all the things I heard about Mafex, just how supple everything feels in hand. As I articulation, the smoothness. He could have had more ankle pivot and a boot cut that would have really... Does he? No, he doesn't. It helped. Maybe less gappage there when he hunches back. But in terms of accessories, with 6 full sets of hands and an alternate faceplate, what more can I ask for? That teddy bear, that's just being kind of a completion. And I forgot! Toticulation! Something Hasbro's only just starting to do again, and only with that Renew Your Vows body. And, added detail, just like the treads on the boots. Yes, this was, like I said, when they first announced this and they showed just a prototype sculpt, I'd been keeping an eye on it, and then, today's the day. I finally get my first Mafex. And I fandangle it so the shoulders don't look so gappy, and yeah, I'm liking this. Now, for Blast of the Past, we got the Select Sculpt for Bizarro, which actually scales very nicely with the Superman I have. I don't have him right next to me later, but I will show that. Mattel. Kind of old school. You do get bicep swivel, a better bicep swivel than my Superman, but not even 90-degree bend with single-jointed elbows. At least you get that with the legs. Well, we do get a thigh cut down there. That weird teeth. It looks like he's kind of cracking his femur. Some ankle pivot, like a wobble, but And the head, he looks up, he looks down a little. We do get a bit of a waist crunch, and all the way around. But of all the choices I had for Bizarro, I like this one the best. I like the face sculpt, even though the head was kind of small. The more muted blues and reds on the suit kind of parallel Superman's, contrast from Superman. And the S is a little scratched up, but it does come in nicely. Then again, I guess for Bizarro, it's fine. He comes with, and the sculpt, you get some veins on the muscles. Not bad, not bad. I get replace that select sculpt Bane, again this one, with a much nicer Mafex Bane and a decent Bizarro. Now for physical copies of movies. Of course, went to see this in theaters, and it was, whoops, it was better than I thought it would be. Rotten Tomatoes says the last one was better, but no, I like this one a bit more. I love how Kong is... It's just the most emotive we've seen a primate be since the Planet of the Apes movies, and it's like you see the journey goes on, and the whole thing with the tribe that resurrects Mothra and shit. It was a fun ride, and then we had this thing. I saw this at the ass end of its theatrical run, and I'm glad I went to see it in theaters, because it was bonkers. Probably the most fun I've had at the movies all year so far. And easily one of my favorite monster and horror movies of all time now, because it was just bonkers. It was just well-written, well-shot. You can't go wrong. Other stuff I got this month. Let's wrap this up. Oh yeah, this was one of the things I looked at on eBay, and then they sent me an offer and said, okay. I remember when I first saw this, it's like, oh, you're putting Tekken on PSP and it still looks that good? That's interesting. I'm not much for Tekken, I'm much for Virtua Fighter, but I remember being intrigued when I first saw this hit the PSP, so at the price that was being offered, why not? And lastly, a little something from Ollie's, of course. I mean, this was Amanda Connor doing Harley Quinn. The stuff she did for the character, it's always going to be a good time. Harley's usually a good time anyway, but with Amanda Connor involved, oh yeah. And here we are with that Superman I told you about. This is a very old DC Direct one. I got this one in the 2-pack with Doomsday and the Return of Superman graphic novel. There have been other Supermans in this scale, but I've always liked this one. The big S, it's got the S on the cape, it's just the good head sculpt, this is just quintessential Superman. Yeah, the bicep swivel is kind of wonky, it's not much in the way of articulation, but it's got a presence. And more importantly, this Bizarro pretty much scales perfectly with this Superman. So that works just fine for me. And now, to wrap things up, here's the Batman figure I've stuck with for a very, very long time, shown with the new Mafex Bane, and the other members I have of Batman's Rogues Gallery. Yeah, very basic DC Universe Classics figure. Got the Michael Keaton 1989 movie coloring. I like having a long-eared Batman. Gotta have the yellow oval. That's kind of a big deal for me. Not the usual T-crotch hip articulation. Got a nice ab crunch, basic shoulders, bicep swivel, single jointed elbows and knees, bit of a thigh cut, not much in the way of ankle pivot. But whatever, it's just nice solid figure. Looks the part. It's just Batman. I've looked at other options, but I think the only one I'd consider is if Mafex releases their current Knightfall, Night Crusader Batman in black and dark gray. I don't like the blue, but I gotta have the yellow oval, so make it black and gray. Anyway, again, other DC Universe classics I have the Catwoman, Penguin, Two-Face, Joker. But this is a Batman's Missions Harley Quinn, because I don't like her old costume. I don't like some of her new costumes. I don't like it when her ass is hanging out in booty shorts. I much prefer a lady in tight pants. Yeah, Harley Booty. So yeah, you know, these Batman missions ones, they were like a lower budget one for kids. The hip articulation doesn't even swing out, but whatever. It's the scale I want, the costume I want for her. Okay, that Poison Ivy, it's like the Hush version from DC Direct, and that's a DC Direct Ra's al Ghul from the Batman vs. Ninja Turtles. So yeah, and now we got a nice big Bane that can actually stand upright among the rest of these robes. So yeah, I'm happy. Even if this is the only Mafex figure I ever get, I'm glad Harley, really? Then again, she doesn't really fit in here. She's more of an anti-hero these days. Yeah, like I was saying, even if this is the only Mafex figure I ever get, I'm glad I made the plunge just for Bane. He looks stellar, he looks perfectly in scale with the rest of the villains and Batman. Can't say much more. No, I'm not going to take the extra time to pose it so he's going to break Batman's back. We've seen that done to death. Time to wrap this up. Keep things moving.